Hey, it's Avi from JustWriteMusic.com. Thanks for being here. Happy to have you here. Setting words to music is a skill unto itself, and despite there being lots of demand, I honestly just don't see a lot of content talking about this. Well, here I am, and I'm going to meet that need. Today I'm sharing with you 5 tips for setting words to music that will help your lyrics and vocal melodies sound natural and refined. Before we dive in, hit the subscribe button and bell below for more videos helping you get everything out of the way so you can just write music. This mic is like right in my face. Ha. Lyrics are hard. They're hard to write. It's hard to set them to music. It's so easy to feel like we're just smashing notes and words together, just trying to finish the line so we can get to the next section, get to the next line, just be done with it, right? No more of that. Armed with these 5 tips, you'll have the tools needed to help you shape your song and your lyrics into the music that it wants to be. Especially number 5. Watch out for number 5. It's the most important in my book, so stick around for that. Or just skip to it, because I'd rather you just skip to it and get that out of this video than just jumping out right now. So go see that if you're already bored. For example purposes, we're going to be using a short poem by a good friend of mine, a very old friend of mine, and you can find him on Instagram at The Poetical Alchemist. So go and follow him there. All right, we're going to keep things nice and simple. Tip number 1. Say the lyrics out loud before you actually put them to music. Critically listening to our cadence of speech and our pronunciation of certain words is going to help guide us when starting to set our lyrics. Say the first line. Oh, no, I'm not supposed to say that. That's a cue in the script for me. Whoops. Let's take the first line. As I sit on this stone, I'm bathing in dusk's sunlight. One more time. As I sit on this stone, I'm bathing in dusk's sunlight. So already, this is giving an early sense of what the rhythm might be based on the cadence and the rhythm of the speech and of the lyrics and words themselves. Now we can start playing with where the stresses are to add some artistic focus, whatever that means, to certain parts of the line versus others. For example, as I sit on this stone, I'm bathing in dusk's sunlight, versus as I sit on this stone, I'm bathing in dusk's sunlight. Right? So the stresses were in different places there, and that will change the affect. Okay, that was tip number 1. Say the words out loud before you set them. It's really, really helpful. Tip number 2, maintain vernacular stresses. Okay, what does that mean? Basically, pronounce the words the way that people say them in real speech. So before we were looking at what words have emphasis in the sentences, and now we're looking at what letters and syllables have emphasis in the words. And this is much less artistic. This is much more like, let's just sound like the language we're trying to sing for. This will help the lyrics fit with the music a lot better because the linguistic component feels natural to speech, which in turn makes it easier to sing. The stresses are really important. It's extremely, extremely imperative that you put the stress on that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Let's take a look at the final word of the first line, sunlight. Normally, the stress or the accent on this word falls on the first syllable, sunlight. So if we were to set this word with the stress on the second syllable, say if it was crossing a bar line and light was hitting the downbeat, it would feel like sunlight, which is just not the way that word is pronounced in the actual language. Now that's not to say you can't set it that way without some serious artistic intent, but you have to create a moment out of it rather than just pronouncing it that way for the hell of it. Honestly, this happens a ton. Like a ton. And once you start hearing it, you kinda can't unhear it. So I'm sorry. I apologize in advance for completely ruining vocal music for you. Okay, that was tip number 2. You gotta maintain those vernacular stresses. It's important. It's really important. All right, tip number 3, find those action words. Action words. What are action words? What I mean by action words are find the words that can convey the most artistic expression. This is building off of the first tip. The way we would decide to place the stresses will both create and alter the artistic message that we're trying to convey in the line. So before we were just saying it differently, and now we're saying it differently with artistic intent attached, right? So let's take that first line. As I sit on this stone, I'm bathing in dusk's sunlight. What about the line do we want to emphasize more than the others for, expressive purposes? Is it I, us? Is it sitting? Is it the stone? Is it dusk's sunlight? Is it bathing? Right? These are all action words, expressive qualities that we can draw attention to. And by making some or one more important than the others, we create and alter that artistic narrative. That in turn affects interpretation on the listener. All right, moving on. Tip number 4. Really want to get through these so you guys can just get right to applying this stuff as quickly as possible. Tip number 4, make sure that you use dynamics and articulations. It's really easy to kind of let this sort of happen naturally, and I think that's both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because when it does happen, it's going to feel very organic. It's a bad thing because we often forget to even think about it. Articulations and dynamics are incredibly important to conveying and expressing the lyrics as well as the music. Take the line, and places it into a stream as gentle as he is. We can set the word gentle softly, both in terms of volume and dynamics, as well as a vocal expression, gently. We're helping to bring the word itself to life through the music. There's actually a term for this. It's called text painting. Let's take another example. As limbs decorated in all the verdant shades wave to each other. Now, the word wave could be set with a small melisma of even just one note. A melisma is just when we change the note over one syllable. We're holding something out as we change the note. And even just that one motion can be very helpful because a wave is an action word. It is moving. So if we are moving the note for this word that literally means motion in some way, that has motion directly a part of it, we are helping to bring that to life. Text painting. Okay, finally, we get to number 5. This is the tip that I was like, hey guys, go skip to this because this is the most important one. And it is. Tip number 5. Don't accent articles of speech. Don't do it. Okay, we've all done it, right? We've all done this. We've all made this mistake. We've all put the emphasis on an a the, an in, an of. Let's take that first line as an example. As I sit on the stone, I'm bathing in dusk's sunlight. No one talks like that. No one reads like that. That just goes against the natural cadence of speech, as well as like taking away, it's emphasizing words that have very little, if any, artistic expression to them. At what point is the word of more important than the subject or the verb of that sentence? The sentence I just started is that sentence. So there you have it. Those are my 5 tips to help you set words to music. If you follow all of them, when you're setting your words to music, you're going to come out way ahead and have lyrics and vocal melodies that emote with the music. What did you think of these tips? Were they helpful, or did I leave you feeling like, well, duh, dude, of course? Now that we have some really awesome tools and tips to help us set our words to our music, let's talk about those notes themselves. That's why I want to tell you about my free guide, 7 Ways to Write a More Effective Melody. There I give you easy to implement tools just like I did here that will help your melodies stand out. Head to justwritemusic.com. There's a link down in the doobly-doo. Thank you so much for being here and for hanging out. If you're at the end here with me, you're awesome. Damn, dude. I don't know. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Avi from justwritemusic.com. Don't forget to be awesome. Peace out.